With everything going on in the news, sometimes it's easy to get distracted by things like, say, Target, and lose sight of things that matter, perhaps just a little bit more. We'll have numbers coming on Target next week though, so follow us on Twitter and subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss them. But I'm talking about the conflict that some have called a U.S. proxy war. That's right, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I stick my head back into the news cycle and yikes, it's drone swarms, long-range missiles, and Russia offering nukes to other countries for aid. But let's get an update on what Americans think about Ukraine. Only 25% of U.S. likely voters think Ukraine is winning the war right now, and even fewer, 17%, say Russia is winning. 45% say it's a stalemate. Here's some historical perspective, and that 17% for Russia is neither its highest or lowest response. Ukraine is pretty close to its average for the last year also. In fact, if you look at last May's numbers, really not a whole lot has changed. Well, maybe it's not fair to say nothing has changed. Since last May, Republicans and independents are less likely to say Ukraine is winning, and much more likely to think it's a stalemate. But Democrats are more likely to think Ukraine is winning and less likely to say it's a stalemate than they were a year ago. And this is, objectively, after a year in which Ukraine gave up some pretty key territory. But is the U.S. involved enough in this stalemate yet? 34% of voters say we're too involved, and only 27% say we're not involved enough. 31% think our level of involvement in helping Ukraine fight the Russian invasion is about right. Again, here's the chart, and this represents a pretty decent swing back since February, reversing the year-long trend of voters increasingly thinking we're too involved. What's happened since February to change minds? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the YouTube comments. Here are the party numbers, and Democrats are happiest with our current level of involvement, and only 31% of Democrats say we're not doing enough. Maybe we finally have enough Ukraine flags in social media profiles. 44% of Republicans say we're doing too much, and that's the strongest signal here, but it isn't that big of one. Half as many Republicans say we're not doing enough. Independents also, by a slight edge, say we're doing too much, but on the whole, these numbers are just pretty mushy. I guess it's what you'd expect from a conflict in which a plurality call a stalemate. But would it be better for the United States' national interests for us to continue helping Ukraine stick it out? 43% say yes, and Russia must be completely defeated. But 42% say it would be better if Ukraine negotiated for peace. We asked this one just a little over 2 months ago, and there is clear movement in the peace direction since then, but not much. The party numbers still show mostly confusion, but less than the previous questions. Independents are completely undecided, but 56% of Democrats want the fighting to continue, but 54% of Republicans want Ukraine to negotiate for peace. Look at these numbers side by side with the March numbers. Although back then I marveled at how the Democrat Party, historically perceived to be a party more supportive of foreign policy, peace, and international diplomacy, was the one driving the war signal. And clearly in the last 2 months, that trend has intensified. Why are Democrats so intent on seeing us help Ukraine continue this conflict when only 38% of Democrats think Ukraine is winning? Again, post your theories in the YouTube comments. And don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Clicking those buttons helps more people see the truth about American public opinion. And stand by for next week when we'll have fresh Trump versus DeSantis numbers. Did DeSantis' announcement move the needle? Find out. And thanks for watching.